Previously on Yogi's Garage.
Again, we're looking for 24 inches minimum. It is 26. Yeah, you know, I'd say this bumper brace needs to be replaced.
Found another black widow spider nest that looks like it died before it was able to hatch these eggs, but still there. Gross.
Comes. Oh, look at that gusher. Marshall from Garage Time TV, he heard the call and he knows that I need some help getting this engine out. Because I would try to.
Remember, plastic is our friend.
Right.
If you die, it's your car.
There it goes. Okay.
Yogi, I'm looking at all this yellow stuff. Did you?
I didn't do it.
Did you have a little accident?
I TT'd.
Where are you? There.
Pepper TT'd.
Pepper TT?
Yeah.
There you are.
I'm pretty sure it'll move now.
Anything?
Right here, man.
Woo!
Welcome back to Yogi's Garage. I'm Yogi. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. You're in for a treat. For my loyal subscribers, we're back with Project Pepper. I know it's been a little bit over a week and a half since I dropped my latest video, but after you see this video, you'll understand why it's taken a little bit of extra time to get the video dropped. So as you know, I've been working on my 2002 Porsche 911 Carrera, and I finally reached the point where I dropped the engine. And as you all know, if you're into this kind of work, this is where the fun begins. But before I can do any of that fun work, I need to clean up my shop. You saw the mess that was made, lots of coolant everywhere, oil drippage. That's not how Yogi operates. I need to clean up from that project. And then of course I can move on to tearing down the engine and getting to the bottom of what's going on with Pepper's engine. After I clean the garage, I'm gonna have to get the engine off the ground. And of course, while I'm trying to get the engine onto the stand, we're gonna take a look at the clutch because there's no other way around it. And we're gonna take a look at that IMS bearing. Yes, I said it, the IMS bearing. We're gonna take a look at that today as well. And then I gotta lift that engine up onto the engine stand. So lots of fun gonna happen today. I won't keep you that long, but I'm sure you'll find something useful in my video. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. It means a whole lot to my channel. If you like what you see, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. No one's gonna know you did that, but I will. And just give me a reason why in the description and I'll take it from there. So without further ado, let's get this garage cleaned and get to work. Oh, my MacBook. Man, got coolant on my Mac. I think I should move this. I'll put it on the freezer. Nobody's. Ah. Oh yeah, these are awesome. How am I gonna get there? Save the planet. All right. There. There. Now I can work. All right, engine takeout is complete. If you haven't seen that video, be sure to click that banner on the upper right-hand corner there and you'll get caught up. So what's next? I gotta do a few things. I've already put all my tools away, so we're good there. What I need to do is separate the transmission from the engine block and then get the engine block on a stand, which is over there, so that I can start taking it apart. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't see any engine lift points. The engine is dropped rather than lifted. So what I might do is use some ratcheting straps and go around the engine block on both sides here, around here, and then around here, bring them together and then use my cherry picker to pick the engine up. But first I want to get this thing taken off. I see an alarming issue here though. If you see the bolts here on the bell housing, there's one missing. All the other ones seem to be accounted for, but the one on top is missing. Now, I don't know about you, but when I put transmissions together and mated them against an engine block, all of them have to be there, or you might have a problem with the transmission shifting around when it's accelerating under wide open throttle. I'm hoping that there's not a broken bolt in there. I don't think so, but hey, you never know. I may have to tap that out. Damn, it makes me mad just thinking about it. All right, but before I do that, I need to do this. I need to put some parts back into the engine bay here, specifically the subframe frame, mainly because this engine is going to be out of the car for a while, and I want to make sure that the structural integrity of this car stays put. So what I want to do is put the subframe back in there and maybe the cross members just to hold it together, because I'd like to take this car down and reuse the quick jacks for other projects. So in order to do that, I should probably reinforce the frame here. So I'm going to do that first. But one of the things that popped up right away that I went ahead and replaced immediately were the engine mounts. But yeah, you should be cringing when you see this. This here is bad. I mean, there is no motor mount support. I think the only thing that kept this motor mount from popping out is that there's a flared outside on the other end of this bushing that keeps it from coming out the opening here. This one here is in the same boat. And all of that reddish, blackish gook right there is visible here. Yeah, so all of those lighter reddish colors, you can see here's where the motor mount goes through. So the motor mount sits, this thing is lifted up into the motor mount, and then the threaded bolt goes through here and you bolt it on the other side. But look at all of the buildup in here. And at first when I saw this, I was kind of worried that something structurally was rusting away and causing this, but I was relieved to see that that is not the case. So I think I can clean all that up, especially on the frame here in the front. So that's good and bad, but I went ahead and replaced the motor mounts because they absolutely needed it. This is what a motor mount should look like, and you can see there is flexing, but there is no, there's lateral flexing, but there is no flexing up and down like you saw on the rotted ones. So yeah, I went ahead and took the liberty of putting these in because it hurt my feelings to see it this way. It's as simple as that. But before I do anything, like everything else I do in Yogi's garage, I gotta clean it first. I'm not putting back dirty old subframe component into a car that eventually the engine bay is also gonna be cleaned out. It's not that bad, but hey, it's 20 years old, so it needs to be addressed. I'm gonna use my new parts washer. Now I know it's a little too small for what I need it for, but I think it's gonna do a good job. I've got some special parts washer cleaner that I'll show you here in a minute. And then I'm gonna stick this guy in here and get to scrubbing. Let's see how it works out. I'm gonna get these bolts in here too, because I think that'll be a good test as well. I'm using oil eater cleaner and degreaser for this project. I think that's pretty deep. Yeah, this oil eater stuff is really good. Dare I say it's better than Purple Power? This stuff is awesome. This way. So you can see the puddling of the grease and stuff. This is gonna work out well. Unfortunately, it's really small. So it's a good starter one though. Mainly for bolts and small parts and adapters and brackets and stuff. Big frames like this, maybe not. I'll make a little bit of a mess, but no big deal. It's one dirty subframe. Okay, so I use the parts cleaner to do most of the heavy lifting as far as cleaning the grime off of it and degreasing it. I finished it off with my pressure washer, but here are some of the other parts that I want to put on. This appears to be all aluminum parts here, so I might be able to shine them up. So I used my little whirly wheel here, which is awesome. I use it with a white Rolex. It does dig into the aluminum. You probably shouldn't use this on an aluminum cylinder head deck or anything like that, because you can see that it does polish it up pretty good. I believe this is about, I'll put the grit up on the screen here, but I use this on either the 15,000 setting or the 10,000 setting and just go to town on digging out some of the pitting in the metal. But you can see it leaves quite a shiny luster on it because I'm not using the orange Rolock, which really digs in the metal. And then I'm finishing off with some Scotch-Brite, which really isn't necessary. That's just to get some of the chunky stuff off. And then I'm using 1200 grit to finish it off as far as getting some of the luster down. I mean, no one's ever gonna see this really unless it's a Concours vehicle, but like I said in previous videos, this car will never be a Concours because it's got over 100,000 miles on it and there's some problems with it. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve proper treatment. So you remember how dark this was and how oily and caked on. It looks awesome now. And I'm gonna go stick that back into the car and to hold all the pieces together. But this parts cleaner is really, really good. You can see this is the bolt that had all of the rust all over it. This is what it looked like before as far as the coloring. I think that's some kind of anti-rusting material. I'll have to look into that and see what that is. But yeah, I mean, these were just grimed over and they look a lot better. So I got one more step that I wanted to try. So check it out. Yeah, so I purchased this when I hot tanked my 2002 Audi A4's engine. And if you haven't seen that video, be sure to click that pop-out banner above. And I think it did a really good job. My only complaint with it though is that it kind of dulls the aluminum finish, but I don't need chrome aluminum anywhere on this car, although I probably look pretty cool. So I'm just gonna hit the top of this thing and see what it does to it, but I think it's gonna clean out some of the dirt and the pitting. And again, this is more of a trial balloon on how I'm gonna use these cleaners going forward when I clean Mrs. Pepper here. So let's take a look. All right, I got a 50-50 blend of aluminum cleaner, and you'll see it immediately react to the metal if it's aluminum. Immediately, and you can see that it turns it a milky white. But it really does a great job on cleaning aluminum. This is aircraft grade. So if it can work on aircraft, I think it can work on cars. All right, it's been a few minutes. Yeah, it looks really good. So hopefully the camera picks it up pretty well, but you can see that it takes down a little bit of the luster. It's not gonna take the grooves that were created when I used the red Scotch-Brite. But again, this is not show grade. This is going under the car and its purpose is just to hold the body together. All right, so I'm gonna get the subframe back in because the cross members actually leverage that. So no big deal. It kind of is a little off. we go. Now, obviously, you don't need to torque all this down because you're just going to take it out when you're ready to put the engine back in. And this goes here. All right, that's good. I didn't even bother to tighten these up right here because there's no point. But again, this is going to give me the structural rigidity that I need to lower the car back onto its wheels without worrying about this thing blowing out because there's nothing holding it all together. So that was the goal. Mission accomplished. Let's get out of here. There. All right, so I've got it pretty taut there, and it's strapped underneath the stand as well to keep it from teetering. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing this thing, even though I have one less to do. But since these bolts are all different shapes and sizes, I've learned my lesson since the last engine removal, and I need to track which ones they are and where do they go. So I did a nice little pizza box drawing here, and you can see that this is the top, and I've already indicated that that top one there is missing. Dang, that skipped a tooth on my not so expensive ratchet. There it goes. What I'm hoping is that the previous person that had their hands on this engine didn't overcompensate with these bolts because of the one missing. We'll see. The one on the center underneath is a bolt nut combination. Right? See if I can get this one all the way around. Yes. Okay, well, that's better. A little bit worried there, but got the right tool. Got nothing to worry about. Okay. So what I expect to see now is this thing just to come apart without falling on anything. Just wants to come off all by itself. Just like that. It's a little tail heavy, but perfect. That was easy. No big deal. All right, it's time to get this transmission out of here, huh? Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop. Boop. I'm gonna get the pressure plate off of the engine block. It's a dual mass flywheel for what it's worth. I'm gonna take off those, I think they're M6s. I'm using a counter hold on the crank over here, basically leveraging the frame there to keep it from moving, because when you try to turn this, obviously the crank is gonna wanna move. So you gotta have something to help you loosen these bolts up. There, one. You want to make sure this Allen is all the way in. He should not be that tight. You don't want to round that out. You're so close to victory. See, rounding it out. Damn it. Make sure you're all the way in. And then try your best. There we go. Okay, last one. What you see there is a rocket socket. That and my easy outs have been very helpful. All right, let's see if I can get it out. My ratchet, my impact. There it goes. Yeah. See, round it out, but I got it out. There we go. Woof. Okay, that's very, very shiny. I just want to zip this off. So I desperately want to see the IMS bearing, see what that looks like. So before we look at the IMS bearing, you can see that the rear main seal was leaking. That's what that is right there. And when you look at it from there, you can see the seepage coming out of the rear main seal. Alexa, dazzle me. All right, here is the clutch that I pulled out of it, and I believe it's a Luck, L-U-K or Luke. It's at least the Luke dual mass flywheel, and that may be an OEM, I'm not sure. But this here is the clutch that I pulled out, and it's not bad. I mean, it's got some meat left, but when you compare it to the other one, you'll see that this one here should be replaced as well. Yeah, so here they are side by side. Not a big difference, but while I'm in there, say it with me, folks, while I'm in there, I did notice a little bit of slipping when I was really putting the gas down on the car, the throttle. And I think it has something to do with the dual mass flywheel. Take a look at this. And unfortunately, this dual mass flywheel cannot be resurfaced. So I have to replace it, but take a look at the scoring here. These are serious scorch marks on this surface. So I can't resurface it, unfortunately. It has to be replaced. But that will certainly solve the issue with my clutch slipping, I think. And here is the new pressure plate. You can see it's nice and grooved. Here is the one that I pulled out, totally glazed over. Yeah, clutch replacement, definitely gonna happen. And of course, the new clutch came with a throwout bearing as well. Dude, could it be? This guy has an IMS solution. EPS. What is that? Let me see. Let me get a closer look. This could be good news here, folks. It looks like it's a replacement IMS solution by EPS. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know what that is. Interesting. All right, after some further research on this IMS bearing here. By the way, the IMS bearing is behind this plate. This is just the front of it. But the IMS has been replaced. This is a European Parts Solution offering. I'm not even sure if they're in business anymore because their website hasn't been updated in about 5 years. But nevertheless, the roller bearing design that they've come up with is supposed to be a permanent solution. I think I'm going to be happy with that. Although that looks like RTV or something. I'm still going to have to open that once I break the engine apart. But the other bonus to this is I happen to see this lettering right here that says EPS as well. And apparently EPS was also selling a retrofit rear main seal sleeve with a seal. And of course, yeah, my camera just cut out again. By the way, don't waste your money on a GoPro Hero 10. They're awful. They're full of bugs. They eat your batteries. Go with a GoPro Hero 9 or stay away from GoPro altogether until they figure this out. Just a little Yogi's tech tip for you. Anyway, so this thing says EPS on it. This is some kind of retrofit offering that they had. If it's leaking like that, I probably will just take it out and use the original rear main seal solution from Porsche. I'm not sure what that's all about. All right, enough with all of that. I'm ready to get this engine up in the air so I can mount it to my engine stand over there. It's eager to participate in what I'm doing here. So what I'm gonna do, since there is no lift points, I think I mentioned that, there's no lift points here for a cherry picker or an engine puller, I'm gonna use my ratchet straps. I'm gonna wrap the ratchet strap on each cylinder head around and then bring it to a center point and then lift from the center. Whew. That is not a light motor. I'm also going to use this. You'll see that in a second. If anyone's in the market for an engine puller, be sure to get the one that's a dual pump action so you can pump it up while you're going up and pump it up while you're going down, because this one pump action is really a pain in the butt. See, I should be able to pump it up when I go up, but I can only pump it up like that. 45 minutes later. Yeah, so I want to get this thing attached to this first so that it's one smooth action rather than lifting this up, attaching it, keeping my feet under it. I want to keep it on the ground for as long as possible just to reduce any type of issue with the straps. I'm going to start with this one here with the long bolt. I'm going to hold it. Just want to get that in there. Just to hold it in place. Now this thing will pivot, no problem. Just got to loosen it up a little bit. All right, it's all set. It's in, it's nice and tight. Not exactly the direction I wanted it to be, but it doesn't have to be since it's on a barrel. You can just align it better when it's on the stand. So now I gotta get this thing up. So I'm gonna set you up. I'm gonna take it nice and slow. If you see anything wrong, give me a shout and I'll stop. All right, there, let's do it. What I'm looking for here is I'm just, making sure that the pressure points are on the engine and not on the engine block or the cylinder head, and not on hoses or sensors or anything like that. This is a heavy guy. Just gotta make sure it's level. And what I'm doing here is just making sure if something pops or breaks, it won't have bargain. A little bit of lube on this thing because it's gonna need it. Let's see where we're at. Okay, about 3 inches. This is one big engine. I mean, it looks bigger with the exhaust on, but that's still added weight. Okay, here we go. Everything's in, bolted. Yeah, that ain't going anymore. Okay. Here we go. Eagles landed, baby. Oh, that thing fit. Shocking. That's shocking that that thing actually fit. It, yeah. Not bad. Holds it up pretty good. Now I just got to get these mufflers off. I don't have more room. All right, so before I wrap up this video, there's one more thing that I want to do before I move on to the next chapter, which is disassembly. I need more illumination here. It may not look it on the camera, but I think my camera's a little overexposed. But I have a shadow here, and this is my main workbench or work area when I tear down the engine. If you've seen my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. So I need to do something right here. So here's what I'm thinking. I've got this Lutech stand light on a tripod that I'm not really using since I've upgraded. Oh my God, can't look at that. Since I've upgraded the lighting in here, I really don't need. I don't really need that stand light until I'm detailing a car or something. But lately, I haven't been doing that. I've been fixing cars, so I'm gonna see if I can break this apart and do some things with it. Let's see. Okay, there. So I've separated it. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I think it's going to work out great. It's going to give me a counter lever. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second, but this is good. I can't take the pull off without destroying the rivets. So here's what I'm going to do. Check it out. So when I meant by counter is because the front of this thing is so heavy, if I fasten it here on the underside of my storage rack and zip tie it, I have a lighting solution without having to drill anything. So take a look at what it looks like when it's done. This is pretty much going to be my working area. This is where I will be doing most of the dismantling and cleaning. I'm gonna have to take these mufflers off sooner than later because it's a really wide setup here. So you can see that it's, you know, from the camera, it looks like I got plenty of light in here, but really I don't. So what I want to do is I want to fix that. And like I said, I took apart that tripod stand that has the light, and I did that. Take a look at how much light we got now. Yeah, that, you can see the shadows on the ground here because of the size of this whole thing. But, I mean, you should be able to see and do everything you need to take this engine apart. And if I could squeeze, there, squeeze by, I can show you the front. So this will be the first couple of things that I handle. Oi, that's gonna be a bad one there. And man, that ignition coil is just covered in oil. There must be some kind of leak on this side. We'll have to look at that too. But anyway, I'm going to take the bolts off this exhaust pipe and then disconnect it from down there. But it looks like I'm going to have to soak these bolts down there as well in some rust remover if I'm going to have any hopes of getting this done. But it's the day before Thanksgiving, and my wife is giving me the evil eye because I have some chores that I need to do to get ready for Thanksgiving. So this is where I'm going to end it. So if you like what you see, be sure to hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. And I could really use your help spreading the word about Yogi's Garage. I have a pretty good showing of supporters, but I really want to improve that in 2022 and show you guys really what I'm capable of doing. But for now, I appreciate everything you guys have done. I appreciate your support. Keep watching. More to come. Thanks for watching Yogi's Garage. We'll see you next time.
Yo, microphone check, make it a microphone check. Give it a microphone, I make it a microphone dead.